In the top stories, St. Kitts and Nevis writes off In the top stories, St. Kitts Nevis writes off Liat's $11 million debt. Traffic police arrest driving instructors in St. Lucia, and U.S. Attorney General says no fraud found that could change the election. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today's Wednesday, the 2nd of December, 2020. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis has made a decision to cancel the $11 million debt owed to the Federation by Liat, the Caribbean airline. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris said the debt relief was made following a request by the liquidator. According to its Facebook page, Liat is currently being restructured following a decision by the government of Antigua and Barbuda to reorganize the airline. Prime Minister Harris said the decision considered the ill health of the regional carrier. He added that it also reaffirms St. Kitts and Nevis's commitment to regional integration and regional travel.
We accept that Liat is the largest carrier supporting intra-regional travel, and without Liat there is a major void that has a significant impact on the ease of movement of citizens, residents, and visitors to the region. Mindful of the challenges that Liat has faced, we believe that we must take this position in the best interests of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and the region as a whole.
The regional carrier returned to the air on a reduced commercial schedule on Monday, November 30. It will operate flights to and from the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport in St. Kitts on Saturdays only in the initial phase. The Public Works Department has estimated that the landslide at Fort Tyson Rise in Frigate Bay has left approximately $7 million worth of damage. The landslide occurred on Thursday, November 13, causing major infrastructural damage. Giving an update on the situation at his monthly press conference on Tuesday, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris said the general situation is, quote, now one of calm, end quote.
At this moment, I am advised that the area has stabilized and some homeowners and tenants have returned to their residences. I'm advised that Mr. Alexis Hazel has provided assistance with the reinstatement of the road, and all residents are now able to access their homes. Our gratitude is extended to Mr. Hazel for his public spiritedness. The general situation is now one of calm.
Prime Minister Harris said the Department of Social Services has extended support to some tenants who became displaced. He said the department also provided food and other necessities to those persons. In other national news, the environment and cooperatives will be discussed on today's edition of Working for You. The special guests will be Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Environment and Cooperatives, Sharon Rattan, and Conservation Officer in the Department of Environment, Cheryl Jeffers. Hosted by Lesroy Williams, Working for You features government officials, heads of government departments, permanent secretaries, and other government officials who provide information on the social, economic, human, political, and sustainable development of St. Kitts and Nevis. Working for You is carried live every Wednesday on ZIZ Radio and other radio stations at 1:30 p.m. The program is also streamed live on the SKNIS Facebook page. We now move to news on the regional scene, where in St. Lucia, 2 driving instructors and 1 student are in serious trouble with the law. An apparent unsanctioned protest on Tuesday morning along the busy Castries-Grosile Highway over pandemic restrictions has resulted in the arrest of the 3 individuals who are facing traffic violation charges. More in this HTS News report.
2 learners in the one on each lane. That making sense? Oh, wow. What's traffic at the back? Watch that.
Traffic along the Grosley Castries Highway on Tuesday, December 1st, was reduced to a snarl by apparent protest action. 1 month has elapsed since the suspension of practical exams, and 2 driving instructors took to the busiest highway on St. Lucia to show their discontent.
This morning I wake up and I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed because they have not resumed exams. Trust me, I'm heartbroken. You could say I'm almost suicidal. I don't know what to do. I'm just there driving with my student, and I just have him there driving slow because I honestly think I'll just open the door and just jumping out. 5 kilometers per hour. Right, 5 kilometers. Let's pass right next to me. Long line of traffic behind us, very long. People getting upset, people blowing their horn, people cursing. Yeah, but really stressed.
A now viral video on social media allegedly shows driving instructor Kingston Jha being detained by law enforcement.
So today is Tuesday morning, and I got arrested along with first pass for driving slow on the road. We're instructing people to drive on the road. Police are arresting us for driving on the road with people.
Jha's brother visited the traffic department to find out the details surrounding his brother's detention. It is there he learned of plans by police to file charges against the driving instructor.
Well, I just came from the traffic department. I was told that he will be charged for obstructing traffic and dangerous driving.
Vernon Jha, like his brother, is also a driving instructor, alleges there are presently no restrictions for slow driving.
It's unfair not just to the driving schools but also to our students as well, who have invested heavily to drive. So this morning my brother went out on the road with a student. He had the student driving at a pace which he believed that the student could have handled, not anything beyond what they could have handled. The speed limit on that particular road is 30 miles an hour. There is no signage or anything to state that there's a minimum speed limit.
Sources tell Newsforce that Jha, a student driver, and another driving school instructor face charges of obstructing traffic and dangerous driving.
I feel the charges are unwarranted. So they definitely should be dropped. As I said, there is no signage there to show what the minimum speed limit should be.
The driving instructors are at loggerheads with policymakers over the decision to suspend practical exams for students given the threat of COVID-19. Some are reportedly not keen on the protocols outlined by authorities, citing what they claim is a litany of unfulfilled assurances by government officials. While the man at the center of the controversy is the General Secretary of the National Drivers Association, the body, via a press statement, said the action was not sanctioned by them. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
Still on the regional scene, a 16-year-old boy was critically injured during an after-school fight in Antigua. According to reports, Jadora King was stabbed in the chest during an altercation with another schoolboy last Tuesday. King, a fifth-form student of the Clare Hall Secondary School, had to undergo emergency surgery after one of his lungs collapsed. The suspect, a 16-year-old boy with whom King goes to school, was arrested and charged with wounding with intent to commit murder. Relatives told local reporters that the boy had been the victim of merciless attacks at the hands of his peers for over a year. The school said an investigation has been launched and a report has been filed with the Ministry of Education. We now move to news on the international scene, where U.S. Attorney General William Barr says the Justice Department has not found any evidence of voter fraud that could change the results of last month's presidential elections. His comments to the Associated Press news agency contradict President Donald Trump's claims that the vote was rigged. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports.
William Barr got the job as America's top law enforcement officer because he was loyal to Donald Trump. Now the president might be questioning that loyalty. Just hours before a routine meeting at the White House, the US Attorney General told the Associated Press he couldn't back up the president's claims of widespread voter fraud in 2020, saying, "We've not seen fraud on a scale that could have affected a different outcome in the election." William Barr became Attorney General after Jeff Sessions was sacked. Donald Trump didn't think he was loyal enough during the early days of the investigation into alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election. Since he took over, Barr has often been accused of acting more as Trump's top lawyer rather than America's. His Department of Justice got involved in cases involving Trump allies. It dropped charges against former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, even though he admitted lying to FBI agents, and it intervened in the sentencing of close Trump ally Roger Stone. Attorney General Barr also announced the findings of the Mueller probe into Russia interference, but was accused of misrepresenting the final results to make his boss look better.
Investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. I am sure that all Americans share my concern about the efforts of the Russian government to interfere in our presidential election.
A concern aired by Robert Mueller himself. But there was a growing rift between the White House and the Department of Justice. Donald Trump wanted a pre-election investigation into Barack Obama and Joe Biden and their roles in the Russia probe. An FBI announcement into Hillary Clinton's emails weeks before the 2016 election gave him a boost. He was hoping it would be the same again. Barr had nothing to work with and couldn't deliver. Just weeks ago, the man in charge of election cybersecurity said the 2020 presidential was the most secure in America's history. That angered the president, who claims without evidence that the election was stolen from him. So he fired his official. When news of Barr's comments hit Capitol Hill, others suspected what might be coming.
In response to Attorney General Bill Barr, I guess he's the next one to be fired, since he now too says there's no fraud.
Trump's legal team says there's been no substantial Department of Justice investigation into any allegations of voter fraud they've uncovered. They say they have substantial evidence of wrongdoing in 6 states, evidence they've yet to make public or present in court. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, at the White House.
The mother of a 9-year-old girl from South London who died after a severe asthma attack is trying to make legal history. She's fighting for air pollution to be recorded as the cause of death, something that has never happened before. And as Al Jazeera's Nadeem Baba reports, strong evidence supports her.
Ella Kissy Deborah was a keen swimmer, dancer and cyclist. By the age of 9, she had the reading age of a teenager, but she never made it to her 10th birthday. Over a 3-year period, she suffered numerous seizures, going into hospital 27 times with breathing problems. An inquest in 2014 found Ella died of acute respiratory failure after a severe asthma attack. But that was quashed when new evidence emerged about local air pollution. Her mother wants air pollution recorded as the cause of death, something that's never happened before in the UK.
For the first 6 years of her life, there is no warning ever of how everything was going to end. Hopefully from this case we will learn a lot more about air pollution and the impact on health, and governments everywhere will take action so no children will have to go through what my late daughter went through.
The new inquest is also considering what steps were taken to reduce air pollution and to inform the public. Experts say pollution levels at a monitoring station here in Catford, near Ella's home, consistently exceeded legal limits in the years up to her death.
Most of Ella's half-hour walk to school was along this highly congested road. 2 years after she died, an expert report concluded there was a direct link between her condition and levels of nitrogen dioxide and airborne particles in this area. The inquest could set a precedent, helping people hold local and central government to account for the air they breathe.
Rosamond Kissy Deborah was never told about the risks of air pollution to her daughter, but clean air campaigners say there's now plenty of evidence it's cutting short thousands of lives across the UK.
It causes and makes worse a whole host of diseases, from asthma to heart attacks to cardiovascular disease to dementia. And we know that it impacts the most vulnerable the hardest as well. So that's children, older people and also those on lower incomes.
The local authority where Rosamond lives has admitted it should have treated pollution levels as a public health emergency. She's hoping the inquest into Ella's death can make everybody think about its impact and take action to save lives. Nadeem Barber, Al Jazeera, London.
And now for the weather. Present weather shows clear skies with a gentle breeze of 8 miles per hour from the northeast. The temperature for today is 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are moderate with waves of up to 4 to 5 feet. The weather forecast says to expect partly cloudy skies with a 30% or low chance of showers for today, and for tonight fair to partly cloudy skies with a 20% or slight chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 5:36 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 6:26 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.